Do you want to harness the power of the full moon to get real results? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 full moon spells, how they work, and tips to get the best results from them. My name is Sandra. I've been practicing witchcraft for over 35 years. I'm the author of Crafting Your Wiccan Path, and I help other witches who are struggling to start a practice or deepen a practice to confidently integrate magic into their lives on a daily basis. And one of the ways to do that is through harnessing the energy of the full moon. The full moon is an energy that you can use to manifest what it is you're wanting to manifest, to release what you need to release, to complete what needs to complete, and to amplify what you want to amplify. At the full moon, there's a heightened energy. And I've experienced this in my own full moon work that I've done. I've had amazing spell results from working under the full moon light. I've had some extraordinary experiences when I've been out in nature working under the full moon. And when you're working that way with the full moon, you can get results within the month. So I'm going to show you 3 spells. The first one is a releasing spell, the second is a love jar, and the third is how to make moon water. So let's jump into the first one. So the first spell is the release spell. This is a really simple spell. All you need is a candle, some matches, a heat-proof bowl, and a piece of paper. Now, I've done these release spells before with candles. This is just something to do on a full moon when you are wanting to just let go of stuff. Now, when it comes to the full moon, it's going to be in different astrological houses and it's going to be in different astrological signs. And those signs and houses can influence your magic. So take note of where the moon is. What astrological sign is it in? And what house is it in your natal chart? That will give you a little nuance to your spell, and it might help you decide what you're going to do this full moon as far as magic is concerned. So a releasing spell is to release anything you want to let go of. Now that could be a situation, it could be a person, it could be beliefs that you have, it could be habits that you have. Whatever it is that you're wanting to release, this spell is going to help you release. So write down what it is that you want to release. That could be a belief that I'm not good enough, or I want to let go of this toxic relationship. Feel into what it feels like to be in that situation, to have that belief, to have that habit, how it's been destructive in your life thus far, so that you're really feeling the desire to let it go. And then fold it up. And as you fold it away from you. And then light your candle. And then begin to feel like, how would it feel if I didn't have this anymore? What would it feel like if it was gone? If you didn't have the habit anymore, what would you be doing instead? If you didn't have that toxic relationship anymore, what would you be doing instead? If you didn't have that belief, I'm not good enough anymore, what would you be doing instead? And feel into that. Spend about a minute imagining that. Then take your paper, light it, and just say, under this full moon, I release what no longer serves me. And see the smoke carrying it away. Very simple spell, but a great one to do every month because there's always something to release. Now, how it works is that it's going to create opportunities, create circumstances, ideas that you can then act on to be able to let whatever it is go. If it's a belief that you have or a feeling that you have that you want to let go of, then it might come to you as a modality or a technique of healing that you can use to help let that go. If it's a relationship, it might actually bring a circumstance about where the relationship dissolves, basically. If it is to do with a habit that you have, then you'll find that you'll get resources that might be able to help you remove that habit. It could be that you no longer feel the need to do what it is that you've been doing, that you don't want to be doing anymore, but more likely it's going to bring you a method that you can use to overcome that habit. The best way to make this spell work is to be very aware emotionally of what it feels like to have this thing you no longer want to have, and then what it feels like to no longer have it. So you've got this contrast between what you don't want and what you do want. And as you light the paper and as you send it away, to really feel into what it feels like to let it go. Now this second spell is the love jar spell. Of course you can create a jar for prosperity or a jar for protection or a jar for healing, depending on what you want to do this full moon. But I'm going to show you a love one anyway, because love spells are very popular for a lot of witches. And this could be to attract love into your life through a new relationship, or it could just be for self-love, to become more loving. Love is more than just wanting a relationship with someone. There can be a lot of aspects to love magic, and one of the most powerful spells that you can do is a self-love spell, or a spell to help you feel more love for yourself, which can then help you feel more love for other people. So when I say love for self, I'm not talking about narcissism in the shadow work sense. I'm talking about accepting yourself for who and what you are, respecting yourself for who and what you are. And when you can do that, it's so much easier for you to be able to do that for others, and you become like a beacon then for the right people to come to you. So for this spell, you just need a small jar. And I've got here some rose perfume. I'm working with some clove. I have here some rose petals. I also have some rosemary, and there's some basil as well. Clove is very much associated with love spells. It's also associated with good speech. Basil is protective as well as attracts love. Rose, of course, is the ultimate love flower. And rosemary brings commitment. So if you're wanting a loving relationship that is a committed relationship, then you would use the rosemary in your jar as well. Now, when it comes to love magic, where you're trying to attract and bring more love into your life, you don't want to be aiming it at a specific person. It works much better if you just put it out there to whoever is suitable to come. Now, before you do your love jar, you want to be clear in the type of person you want to have as a partner. Write down all the characteristics that you want in a partner and what you want them to be able to bring to the relationship, as well as all of the things you can bring to the relationship, so that you've got a lot of clarity around what it is that you're looking for, so the spell can be more successful in bringing you the right person. So with all of that homework done, it's time to cleanse your tools. So when it comes to your jar, you can cleanse it with the energy out of the palm of your hand. And imagine that you have all of this energy just coming from the palm here, the center of the palm of the hand, going down into the jar and around the jar. I cleanse and consecrate this jar to serve me in my work, remove all malefic energy and replace with benefic energy. And now you're ready to fill your jar. So as you put the cloves in, think and say, "Cloves, bring me the love I seek." Now I'm going to the basil. Basil, bring me the love I seek. Rose, bring me the love I seek. And if you need to poke some of that down, and you can use your matches to poke it down into your bottle. And then rosemary, bring loving commitment. You can pop some oil in here, oil of rose. Bring me love. Put the lid on. Put the bottle between the palms of your hand. Focus on what it would feel like to have that love and that in your life, that relationship in your life. What would that feel like? And spend a minute or two just asking yourself the question, what would it feel like to have that relationship in my life? Think of the things you'll be doing together. Think of how you'll be feeling. Notice how your posture changes as you do this. Now, when you've finished doing your spell, you want to place your jar on your altar for about 24 hours. And then once it's brewed for that 24 hours on your altar, place it in your bedroom, somewhere close to where you sleep. It doesn't have to be under your pillow, but close by you. You could put it under your bed, you could put it beside you and on a table beside you, because your bedroom represents the love aspect of your life. So that's why we place love spells in the bedroom. So the third spell is making moon water. Moon water can be used in other spell work. So it could be used to anoint a candle. It can be used to sprinkle around the space when you're doing a ritual. It can be used as a tea if you drink it pretty soon after you've made the moon water, so it's fresh water. You can use it in potions. However you can use water in magic, you can use moon water. And what you're doing with moon water is you're using water that's charged with the energy of the moon. And you may want to have a particular intention for that moon water as well, if you're using it specifically for something later, or it can just be the intention to have it absorb some of the energy of the full moon, so that you're carrying some of that heightened energy with you when you're doing your spells, whenever you need it, if it's not a full moon. So all you need is a container for the water, and of course put some water in that bowl. I like to also put a quartz crystal in there as well, and take this bowl of water outside so that you can leave it there to absorb the energy of the moon. You could leave it on a windowsill. Wherever it gets the actual moon into it is what you're wanting. So it needs to see the moonlight and be exposed to the moonlight. But before you leave it there, just say, I now invoke the energy of the moon to charge this water with her brilliant energy. Illuminate this water, I pray by the moon. And then leave it there under the moonlight. Make sure though that when you go to collect it the next day, it's before the sun comes up. So you need to go just before dawn to collect it, because you don't want the sunlight coming into the water if you're wanting pure moon water. This is very simple moon magic that you can do, and I believe in simple magic. If magic's too complicated, you'll tend not to do it. But if you're wanting to bring witchcraft into your life on a daily basis and really feel connected to nature, to the moon, to the herbs, to life in general, and your true magical nature, you want to be doing things whenever you can, regularly, so that you are feeling that sense of connection. So simple spells go a long way to helping you really have a fulfilling practice. Now, if you do want to learn more spells and more about how to become a really good spellcaster, I do have a course called The Witch's Guide to Magic. And in that course, you get about 100 spells that are related to the different areas of love and romance, health and well-being, prosperity and success, and protection and defense magic. And you also get to learn the differences between those different types of magic and how to be good at all of them. Not just one or two of them, but how you can be good at all of those types of magic, even if you've failed with them in the past. I'll show you why you've probably failed when you've tried them in the past, because this course really focuses on the most important aspects of magic. So that's The Witch's Guide to Magic. And if you're wanting to learn more about how to be a witch and bring magic into your life on a daily basis, learning energy work, working with the Sabbats, working with the lunar energies, working with deities, and connecting to the witch within, do have a look at the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy. That is an amazing course for those of you who are just starting out, or even if you've been doing it for a while but you just can't get a regular practice going. It's really good for you. And the best part about that is you get the Witch's Guide to Magic as a bonus in that course. So you get 2 courses for the price of 1 course. So there's links to my courses in the description field below this video. You can also find them on my website, mysterywitchschool.com. Let me know in the comments field if you're going to do any of these spells on the next full moon and which one that might be, or what is your favorite spell or type of spell to do on a full moon. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.